welcome back to another Eto spoiler cast. This one is about a very current thing that literally happened less than 24 hours ago. What a start.
Hour ago?
It is the Superman and Lois show. It has kicked off with its massive 2-hour event, which actually came down to 54 minutes.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, CW. I am Will.
I'm Sam.
And we're going to talk all about it. It's spoiler cast, but before we get into spoilers, I think as it is a brand new thing that you might be wondering if you should watch or not, we should just give our thoughts. Sam, as our resident Superman Sam, what do you think?
Superman fan Sam. No, I actually really enjoyed it because it was very different to what we've got in the past in terms of a Superman TV show. I loved the element of the kids. They were great. Everything that was happening with them, I was sick. I actually don't mind Tyler Hoechlin as Superman.
Yeah.
I think he's fine. People just hate on the dude for no reason. I'm like, guys, relax. But yeah, overall, I found it very fun. It had its usual issues that any superhero show on the CW would have, mainly the CGI. But other than that, it was fine. I mean, what do you think?
I don't have much else to add to that. I would actually say, there were some dodgy bits, but some of the CG in this was holy shit. There's a shot of him, after kind of all the intro stuff of him flying to the first scene of the crime, and I was like, this is sick. This looks like Henry Cavill in Man of Steel. This looks great. I'm total agreeance. This actually feels like what the WandaVision feels like in terms of it feeling like a cinematic superhero show.
You have no idea how happy I am to hear
I know.
Because I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah. This is what I think Stargirl promised and then failed on. It kind of looked like it was going to be cinematic, and then it just kind of said, this from the off, it's this just doesn't feel I don't know how, if Melissa Benoist ever comes into the show, it's going to be very confusing because it's you don't belong in CinemaScope.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that was definitely one of the things that was constantly in the back of my head throughout the whole way through. I was watching it and I was like, this could be a movie. This could be in cinemas. And I feel because it was similar to Stargirl, when that started. Yeah. I had a similar opinion where I just I was like, it looks so good. It looks so different to what we've got in terms of Arrow and Flash and all that other stuff. And I'm just really glad that there's now a Superman thing that has that type of quality because,
it's just it's your boy.
It's my boy.
I feel like that's and I admit there's not much in the way of spoilers in this, but it's just if you don't want to know anything, I think it's best off leave now. We've said our part because just Sam, he wears the original suit and lifts up a great
William! Oh!
I was shaking, man.
It was so cool. And it was so vibrant. Yeah. And it just worked for that one scene. Yeah. And I was like, and the car was also so similar.
It was.
To what is on Action Comics #1.
It's a modern day Hyundai Getz or something, but it's it looks like the original car. They found the perfect color and
it was amazing.
Oh, it's just so sick. I mean, it might as well just outright the first 5 minutes of this as he explains how he got to Earth and all that. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, where was this in anything that's been on the CW up until now? Totally.
And it just because there was that thing of okay, they are recounting a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can understand if people aren't really up for that. But I mean, being a Superman fan, it was cool to get that quick recap, especially if you're new coming into this sort of stuff. I thought it was great. When he does save the green car and the kid's like, nice suit. And he's like, thanks, my mum made it. And just takes off. Oh
so
my
good.
God. It was incredible.
and am I right in, because as he goes through it, obviously, he recounts his origins, but then he also talks about meeting Lois and having the kids. That is the new universe of the CW, right? That kind of whole thing, that's never actually happened before. And for him, he also, would this technically mean that Lois has told him this past because he doesn't remember this.
Yeah. So, like, because what happened at the end of Crisis was, like, he pretty much has knowledge of everything. The only thing that was different was that instead of one son, he now has two.
Yeah, of course. And they're like 15.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas in, I believe it's in Supergirl. Yeah, in Supergirl, we do see Clark and Lois. They go off to sort of spend like their first few months with their newborn son.
Cool.
And he is like literally 3 hours out of the womb.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, now they're like, about 15 or 16.
Yeah.
But because that was the one thing I was kind of like, oh, they didn't really like say anything about it, because that was the thing where it was like when they were doing like all the marketing for this show, it was like you're going to see how Clark is adjusting to now having two sons instead of one. Yeah. But it was kind of just like glazed over. It like they didn't really make a big thing about it, which at the same time I don't mind.
Yeah,
because I wouldn't have liked this first episode to be like, oh my god, I've got two sons now. You know?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah.
Oh no. Because it really doesn't like, and it is that I totally agree that I'm sure there are people on the other side of this that they're like, this is all too much. Like everything happened so fast. But I loved the pace of this because all those CW shows are so consistently like one cool thing in the episode and then just everyone fucking for like 40 minutes. And it's like, this isn't why I'm here. Whereas this is just constantly interesting superhero moments with him. Like, totally. We eventually get to settle in with like everyday life with him, and like the Daily Planet is falling apart, and Ma Kent.
Oh my god, dude. That hit me hard.
As someone who's like watched maybe like 3, like all I've seen of him is Crisis. So I don't have any, the whole, when he goes into the house and finds her, I was actually like almost crying.
Yeah, totally. And like, cause he gets there so quick, and the nurse that rang him, she's like, how did you, but he just like, he guns it.
Gets in
and
the
then
room.
Opens the door, and it's just like, it's like 30 seconds of him like sobbing from that point.
Yeah.
And it's like, it wasn't even like too much. It was like the perfect amount of like emotion for you to be like, holy crap, I now care about Clark Kent losing his mum.
I now care about this Clark Kent as well. Like, as a character, I'm like, I'm intrigued with him and Lois as well. Like, and that was the other thing. Like, even though it was sad in that moment, in the back of my mind, I'm like, is this just to get Ma Kent out? Like, do you just not have a place for her? But then, as the story evolves, and they're like, oh, the farm and like all the money things, which we'll get into, I'm like, this is cool. Everything has a reason to be in this story.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I thought that was incredible. Like, the more that, the episode did go on, and it is like, nearly an hour long. Yeah. So they do have quite a lot to cover. Because I was worried. I was like, are they going to just be like filling time now? But the more that it went on, I just thought this is great because everything got reasoning. They're introducing new characters every now and then. It was just like all over like good stuff. And I will just like add another like fan servicey thing that happened. Like, aside from him wearing like that original suit from Action Comics #1, when so at the start of the episode there's a power plant that's about to erupt, and the way he saves it is he goes and freezes a freaking lake. Like, is it Superman 3?
Yeah, the worst Superman movie. Yeah. When I was like, are they actually doing this? Like, that's insane.
He flew out to the water, and I was like, wait, no. And then he just freeze it all, and I was like, no way. I sat there, I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. And that was probably the moment though where I found the CG to be the junkiest. Yeah. With this big iceberg over his head. But just the fact that they did that, I was like, this is sick. This is great. This is what I want in a movie.
Totally. It's what we always talk. It's like with Doctor Who. Like, if we made Doctor Who, you pay reference to the classics. You're like, the past is part of the show. And with this, it's like already, it's like they are making such great use of, I'd say more so the films and stuff, which I think a lot of Flash and Arrow do. They seem to go with like surface level comic stuff and then just really talking about the movies and stuff. But that was sick. And like, even though the CGI of the actual iceberg was average, every time they like punched into him and he's like holding it up and it's just dripping on him, I'm like, this is great. This looks amazing.
The fact that he had like his hair was just wet and like you could see like the suit was wet, I was like, that's enough for me.
It's great.
I'm convinced.
Look, while we're on CGI, there is one shot in this whole thing for me. Like, as someone who usually bashes the shit out of CGI, I actually loved most of this. There was one shot in it, which is near the end where he's battling, which I feel like it's somewhat confirmed, but also it's kind of assumed. This is the big bad at the end of this is Lex from a different universe, right? Like
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's definitely not the one from the universe they're in.
It's not 2.5 Men.
No, it's not him at all.
And there's a shot where he like gets thrown into like a Chinese restaurant or something, and he kind of stumbles out of it. There's like half a frame of him stumbling, and then he just goes poof, and it was like, oh, that looked a bit weird.
Yeah, there was moments like that, and there were even a few cuts to certain scenes I felt were a bit out of place.
Yeah,
but yeah, well, I mean, I'm so surprised that you enjoyed it.
I know,
but yeah, overall, it was really decent. It was good stuff.
It was really good, and obviously the biggest element of this, which I feel like no Superman like on-screen stuff has ever covered. Obviously, probably the animated movies and stuff, but the two kids are there. He's got to deal with these two sons. And even them, like, I was like, oh, they're going to drip feed this. Like, this is going to take forever. But it's like, they have the incident in the barn where they both survive. And then they go to, like, there was so much character building of the sons. I was really excited.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, yeah, in this, you've got Jonathan and Jordan. So, in the comics, his son's name is Jonathan. So, going into this, I was like, okay, if they're going to get abilities, I feel like they would focus more on John than they will with Jordan. Yeah. Because Jordan is now this like entirely new character that they've made up for this show. Yeah, right. As far as I'm concerned anyway. But the thing that I loved about the accident that they had was that, like, you know, they've come out of it unbruised and they're kind of like, that was a bit weird.
Yeah.
Jonathan in this is kind of painted as like the perfect kid. Like he's good at school, he's confident, he's well kept. Everything that you want your son to be. And then Jordan is a little bit on edge most of the time. He's got a lot of anxiety, has to take a lot of meds and all that.
Like, I loved that.
That was great.
Like, and as someone that usually, and you know, representation is very important in media, but in most superhero media, they do it in such a gross and like in your face way. Yeah. But I am so on board with the possible journey they're going to have with this character. Yeah. It's very exciting.
Yeah, but the thing that I really loved about the accident was that you've got them going, that was a bit weird. But Jordan is very like, no, like you don't understand how weird this is. We need to get to the bottom of it. And while I was watching it, it just came over me why to Jordan this is so important to him. Because with his other brother, John, you know, John, I feel like he's one of these kids where, like I said, he is painted like the perfect kid. So in a way, he would feel like he is invincible. So for him to come out of an accident like this, he's not really going to question because he thinks he is just, you know, so good and strong and all that sort of stuff. Whereas with Jordan, he's this kid with anxiety and he feels so broken and out of place that for something like this to happen to him, he's like, no, there's no way anything this good can ever happen to me. We need to find out what's happening. And I feel like that might not have been what they were going for. Yeah. But I feel like for me, that was like, that's really cool if that's what they were trying to get across to us.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's better than assuming that a rabbit is Doctor Strange or something. Like, if you're going to
fly on the wall.
If you're going to extrapolate something, that's really good. And yeah, I think that they're definitely playing with themes like that in a wonderful way. Because at that same funeral for Mark Kent, they get introduced to Lana.
I was really happy that she showed up.
I was like, this is so cool how many little elements they've already set in.
Totally.
What's her last name?
So it's Lana Lang, but she's married someone, so she's got a different last name.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, she's looking after all the money and business. So she is the one that gives a big exposition dump about the fact that Mark Kent has basically just like expunged all of her money off to other people, so she couldn't pay off the farm. So the farm is like owned by, I guess, the council. Or was there a bigger...
I think so. I don't know.
It's probably the Luthers. Like, it'll probably be like the Luthers want to buy Smallville or something.
Well, she mentioned... Because a very reoccurring name throughout this... I've had a total mind blank. But they mention Morgan Edge. Yes. So Morgan Edge, he purchases the Daily Planet, which results in Clark getting the sack.
Right.
And then they find out that he also made a purchase through the bank where Lana works, and he's now trying to build up. He's trying to buy up as much land as he can in Smallville. Which I'm very interested to see where that goes, because that's just like, it was a small element in the episode where it had like so much going on, but it was something that like kept you thinking, oh, I wonder what's going to happen with that.
Totally. And it's like, I just had a flashback to like any DC thing, really. But not any DC, any DC CW thing. Like apart from potential otherworld Lex, which is very comic booky, like the main issues in this episode are like anxiety and depression, land buyouts. Like it's already
very real.
It's real, and it's more grown up than anything they've like. Supergirl is beautiful and cinematic, but at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I've got to take down the bad guys.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like, I'm invested in this because it feels real.
Totally. And like it's an element of the show that I really hope like they keep up with moving forward. I really don't want this to be the case that after this scared. It just falls off.
I'm so
I
worried.
really don't want that to happen. But I will, like, another really cool just like fan service thing that I noticed in the episode was the main street of Smallville that they show where like the bank and everything is. It was, I don't think it's the exact same one, but it's very, very much like the main street in Smallville, like the actual show Smallville.
Yeah, right.
And then there is a cutaway to a water tower, and on that water tower it says Smallville, but it's the logo from the Smallville TV show. Of
course it is.
Which I was like, thank the Lord.
Good. Do you reckon there'll be any more like things like that threaded throughout? I mean, they're in Smallville.
Oh God, I literally just like, this is live reaction. If freaking like Tom Welling comes into this, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah.
If anyone comes in, I'll lose my mind, because like they could have very easily gotten the Lana from Smallville to play this Lana. That would have been really cool.
And but, I mean, we didn't end up seeing what happened to his universe in Crisis, did we?
Totally, no.
So he could have gotten merged in here. Like he could be living here.
Don't tell me that.
But so no, we get introduced to Lana, and she's got 3 kids. I think two girls.
Yeah.
And the oldest girl invites. I don't remember. They've all got J names, so it's very Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah.
So she invites him to like a usual American mining party. It's like they've just taken over. Yeah.
And they're just like, they get there, and the first thing that happens is they just start throwing fireworks in the air. And I was a bit like, what? I was like, what are you guys trying to do? And something here is going to go wrong.
And as they happen as she goes, oh, we party pretty crazy here at Smallville, and it's like fireworks go off. It's like, I mean, I guess that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, totally.
Aren't fireworks legal in America? Like, can't you just buy them? Like, what's crazy about that?
It was so funny.
But this is like, I mean, just talking about the scene as a whole, because this girl did him dirty, because
100%, 100%.
Like, and this is just 2 straight men that are just incredibly single. But it's like, she was giving him all the signs, like, and the show knew that it was happening, and then the poor anxiety-driven man finally is like, this is a person that I can talk to, that I'm enjoying their company.
Yeah.
I'll have a peck. And then he just gets decked by a man out of nowhere.
Which was so shocking to me. Like, I was sitting there on the lounge, I literally went, what?
Yeah.
Because he comes out of nowhere, but then that goes into probably like one of my favorite moments from the episode where, you know, this boyfriend starts to lay into Jordan. Jonathan comes out of nowhere.
I love that.
And just decks him.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought of, because like prior to this, they find out that their dad is Superman. And
we can talk about that scene.
Yeah. So it gets very heated. But basically, the argument that Clark and Lois were having with them is that they didn't want to tell them because they didn't want them to feel like aliens and out of place and all that sort of stuff. But also, they didn't want it to be the case that one of them got powers and the other one didn't. And then throughout this episode, they heavily imply that their son John is the one with the powers because he's good at sports and he's smart and all sorts of stuff. So they're like, maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
Whereas Jordan is very quiet. So when John punches this boyfriend, you're like, oh my God, he's going to have his dad's strength and he's going to absolutely kill this kid. So fight's happening. Jordan and Jonathan are getting the absolute crap beat out of them. And then freaking Jordan's eyes light up and he uses heat vision to blow up the fire behind them, which was probably an accident. I mean, I feel like if he wanted to, he could have just gone straight for the guy's head.
I was like, what level are we on here? Are we on Brightburn level? Is he going to kill someone?
Yeah, no, 100%. Because, like, he very nearly could have.
Yeah.
Like, it was that close to being, like, he could have killed someone.
It's lucky that everyone in, like, a direct line of fire to the bin was just not in near his face.
Yeah, and that no one saw the heat vision beams coming in his face as well. But I just thought that was very cool because it was a very, like, underdog moment where this kid, where there's nothing that implies he's special in this show at all of a sudden has the same powers as his dad. And I was like, holy crap, this is great.
Very exciting. And I mean, look, by the end of the series, the other bloke will fly. Like,
most likely, yeah.
I hope. Yeah. I hope it's not like you're a jock. That's it. Like you are the special kid, but you're not the special kid.
Totally.
I hope they both have powers because it's a little bit too cliche to be like, oh, it's the one you didn't expect.
Totally. Yeah,
but no, I love that, and like the scene where Clark finally has to reveal that he is Superman. I was hoping that they would show like how old mate used to do it. Christopher Reeve, when he took the glasses off, I was hoping he'd take them off and then, like, straighten up or something.
Oh, that would be cool.
Like, because it was a rear shot as he took the glasses off, but he just took them off. And it's like, I'm sure the kids have seen their dad without glasses on, right? Like, that shouldn't, like, just fly, Clark. Like, they're definitely seeing you without glasses.
Yeah, totally. But then, and then him getting, like, the truck and hovering above them. That looked great. I feel like all their budget just went to that 3 seconds.
Yeah, I know. Because
it looks sick.
There's a shot of him lifting it up and the truck is just out of frame. So I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. So they're just cutting it out so that you don't see the wires. But then it, like, goes wide and I'm like, oh, because the sun's setting. And
yeah,
this show looks good.
Speaking briefly on, like, his posture and stuff, the one thing that I really liked in this is that his new suit has got, like, the muscle padding and stuff. So when he's Clark Kent, he's very slim, and I feel like that works very well because in the comics as well, he tries to hide his body under his clothes, so he wears clothes that are much more oversized for him and stuff. So I really like the fact that his body physically looked different in and out of the suit, which was it was just something that I really appreciated. Basically,
just such a great attention to detail with those kinds of things, and that new suit looks incredible. Like. So cool, man.
It's very cool. And, like, the actual texture of the suit, of, like, the blue on the suit, I had a look at it today because I saw, like, some, like, promo images. I zoomed in, and it's, like, 90% accurate to, like, the Man of Steel texture. Sick. And so just for a Superman fan, I was like, thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
I'm well keen for this. I mean, obviously we need to talk about the fact that, it's almost like an Assassin's Creed map. Someone is going to, like, a bunch of power plants and just attacking them. Like, it's like they're just trying to take down power plants.
Yeah, totally.
At the start of the episode, he saves one with the ice cube, and then at the end of the episode, there's one doing the same kind of deal, and it's whilst... Is it whilst something's happening?
It's while the Suns are at the bonfire having the fight.
That's right.
Because what I thought was he was having this fight with this, like, random dude who's just going around and being a dick. And then at the same time, his sons are in trouble. I genuinely thought he was going to hear his sons, like, cry out for help. Yeah. And that he was just going to freaking, like, land in front of, like, this bonfire, like, as Superman. It'd be a massive, like, moment.
You know what it would have been cool? He lands, and as he lands, he puts out all the fires so that it's like you just see his silhouette, and then it's like... Poof.
Oh, don't do that.
That would have been sick.
Great.
But he takes on this dude with a very sexy voice, slightly like Gina Carlo-esque.
It sounded so,
a little bit.
Like, to me, I was like, I feel like I've heard this voice before.
Totally.
So people like him were popping into my head because I'm like, no, like, I know this voice.
Yeah.
And then even at the end of the episode, we still don't see this person's face. So we don't really know who the actor is unless it probably says it in the credits.
They probably have announced it, but we're just going to enjoy this. Because, he's head to toe in a suit. And even if we didn't already know the thing that there is an alt universe Lex in this, the suit kind of looks like one of those Luthor suits from the comics. Yeah, those kind of like, those ones.
Yeah.
I mean, the suit does very well. Like,
Yeah.
Supes doesn't get a single friggin' punch in.
He can't do anything. Like, he tries to use freeze breath, heat vision, speed
Yeah.
and strength, obviously. Nothing works. And there's a moment where he uses the heat vision. Nothing happens. And he literally just goes like that.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Because even, like, when they are fighting, he says, I bet you're wondering why I know so much about you. And I was like, is that Lex?
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
That's a question. What
Yeah.
if this is the Lex, and this is getting like WandaVision a little bit, but what if this is the Lex from the Brandon Routh universe that has already fought him and stuff? Because, like, and then that gives you an in for Brandon Routh Superman to come in at some point.
Yeah, totally. Because I was, like, before the computer said Mr. Luther, I thought it was Zod, because in the show Krypton, which I think it's not on CW, but I mean here in Australia we have it on Sci-Fi.
Yep.
The Zod in that is he's got a very like dark skin, and when he takes the helmet off and he's bald as well, I was like, that's the dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he looked very, very like similar. So I was like, oh my god, is it Zod? But then they're like, nah, it's Mr. Luther. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Wait, did I miss a post-credit scene?
What? What are you talking about?
I haven't seen this.
So when, like, what was the last scene you saw when you watched
him
it?
like flying in space, like floating in space? Yeah, and then my thing just cut, so I must have had a shit download.
No, so at the very end,
illegal acquisition.
For me anyway, the very end was this person in this like robotic suit.
Yeah, right.
Lands in like the North Pole, and he's got like a scout ship on like a cliff, just covered in snow. And he, like a ramp opens, he walks up inside of it, and he takes off his helmet. You see like the back of his head, and you see he's bald. And I was like, is it Zod? And then the computer says, "Welcome back, General Luther." I think it says.
Right. Okay, so this whole time I've been like, oh, I wonder who it is. And there's literally a scene where, holy shit, there's just 2 minutes of this episode I've not seen.
Yeah, totally.
Christ.
But even with that, like it says Luther, but it can very much be a Luther from a different universe because...
Oh, yeah. I think I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that, there's a Luther from an alt universe in this.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I think that was like part of the press release for this show.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
there was a Luther that was trapped from a different universe or something.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Yeah. Well, then, like, I'm intrigued either way. Yeah. Just to know what's going on there.
I've got to watch those 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I just thought, oh, what an ending to this episode. What happens to Superman? Apparently, he's fine. he's just sitting there. He's totally fine.
Totally. So that was the last thing that you saw?
No, last thing I saw was him floating in space with a bit of kryptonite stabbed in him.
Is that really the last thing you saw?
Yeah.
Oh, William, you missed out on like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know, apparently. Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
Imagine that's what makes me hate this show.
Oh.
Those 10 minutes.
Okay.
Is like,
in that case,
I'll leave it. I'll leave those alone. Well, that's interesting because I was going to say that like we were left on the cliffhanger of him floating in space, but apparently the cliffhanger is a Luther of some sort.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is less of an intriguing way to end the episode. Like
a little bit, yeah.
That's why I was like, what a crazy way to end. He's floating in space.
Totally. I mean, I think it would have even, with like the whole scene at the end with Luther, it probably would have even been better if we saw his face but didn't hear a name.
Yeah, totally.
And then you could totally just end it there and you could be like, well, because either way, it could be Luther, it could be Zod, could be someone brand new. You don't know.
Yeah, it could be someone going into a ship that's owned by Luther that just said that.
Oh, that's very...
It just assumed it was Luther.
God damn it, William. You add so much to this shit.
I know. My brain works very fast. No, but I'm so happy to have another show to be watching every week and for it to be a DC one. Because there's not many good ones.
Shock to me.
Yeah, I know. I'm so happy because we didn't talk about this show all day. We watched it and then we left it. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it as a super boy.
I thought it was very good.
Yeah. Did they? I feel like they called one of the sons Superboy in this. I feel like that was dropped.
Yeah, it was actually very cool. Like, I thought it was because it was while they're having the argument.
Yes.
About them telling the sons that he's Superman. Jordan, the one with like the anxiety, turns to Clark and goes, "Go and get your Superboy," and points to the other one. And I was like, "Oh, he said it!
So
that's the one."
It's
and it was even cooler that like the brother he's pointing to in the comics is that version of Superboy.
Good.
But yeah, just like having it in that moment, it was like a reference in a way, but also it was like you could see like that whole scene is incredible because Jordan is so like upset and just like you can just tell he's like hurt and scared. And just quickly, sorry, can we talk about the scene when they actually find the ship?
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing the actual ship, and because the one thing I like about anything Superman related is that the ship is always different. It's never the same thing. And even down to, like, the sort of tech that it runs with. So, like, when Jordan put his hand over it, it kind of, like, it was like it was water. And it kind of, like, moved. And then when he got closer, it opened up, like, a little hole, and, like, a crystal came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is freaking great.
That was very
And,
cool.
like, that whole scene I just felt was shot very well as well. Because did you enjoy the music in this?
I did. I feel like I hope there's more of a theme that comes through. I like a good motif, and it was kind of just noise for a lot of it. But like, I mean, it fit all the scenes for sure.
Yeah, totally. No, because like there was just a lot of moments where I was like, need to put that into something later and put some music over it because
100%. I've got mine converted for the perfect file format.
Oh, god damn it!
Because I just need that.
Oh, William, I'm gonna be crying tonight if you send me anything.
I just need it. And they've used it before. There's like just use the theme, guys. You're never gonna do anything better than that. Just use the theme. Unless like Smallville, like they're just holding on to it for the moments that they need it.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Which is totally fine. But hopefully we see those moments. I'm not sure if this will be a weekly one or whether we'll come back at the finale. Depends on how it goes. But I definitely think we'll be back for the finale. We'll for sure be talking about it then. Yeah. Is there a length for this? I feel like it's a shorter season than most.
I genuinely do not know.
Yeah.
I would assume maybe a bit shorter than the others.
Yeah.
Because how many episodes was Stargirl?
There was only like 10 or something, wasn't it? 10
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so, I would assume it would be around that. Yeah.
A bit more angled for like your streaming shows, like because I'm sure this will be on HBO Max, just straight. Because it's great fun, and it was great fun talking to you, Sam, about this show.
And you, William. Like, guys, you have got no idea how genuinely impressed I am that he has enjoyed this as much as he said he is. Like, it's incredible to me. It's super. Some might say.
It was super. I even went with my boy, my man figure. There he is. There he is.
What a man.
Good on you, if you want more of our content, you can, if you're on Spotify or podcast things, you can jump on over to youtube.com/each to their own. There's a bunch of stuff there, but if you're watching this on YouTube and you prefer to just listen to things, we're on Apple Music and Spotify and Pocket Cast, all the places. And we're also on Twitch at twitch.tv/@9Josh. Yeah, good. And you can follow us there. We stream fairly often. Basically, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the intention. When that happens, it happens. But that's kind of it. Oh, no. And if you want to give us money, you can go to patreon.com/each to their own and get into a super secret Discord at the $3 tier. It's in Australian dollars. Thank you for that, Patreon. I'm not buying drugs. That wasn't me going, thank you for that. I can pay for marijuana. That wasn't what that was. That was me going, this is great. I'm really covering for that. I don't have, look at my room. I don't have money to buy drugs.
No,
God.
None of us do.
No. But if you do want to pay for our drugs, jump on over to patreon.com/each to their own. It'll help all of us. But till the next one, I've been Will.
And I've been Superman Fan Sam.
There he is. Bye, everyone.